The child's voice was shaking as tears ran down his face. "They broke my toy, and they hit my mom." No one had ever dared to speak those words out loud in this town. The factory was powerful, untouchable until that moment. Because standing there on the roadside was a group everyone feared but no one truly knew. And when the bikers heard the child's cry, their engines didn't fade away. They turned toward the factory, and everything began to change. The factory road was always silent at this hour. Workers kept their heads down, afraid to draw attention. Then, out of nowhere, a child's cry cut through the air. He ran barefoot across the gravel, clutching a broken toy, his face red with fear. People watched, but did nothing. In this town, you learned early that speaking up came with a price. When the bikers stopped, the engines fell silent. The child looked up at them with trembling lips and said the words no one expected to hear. "They broke my toy, and they hit my mom." He pointed back toward the factory gates. His voice carried more pain than anger pain that had been ignored too many times. The mother stood at a distance, her hands shaking. She wanted to run to her child, but fear held her back. She had tried to speak once before and paid for it with bruises and threats. The factory owned everything: jobs, police silence, and broken promises. She believed no one would ever stand with her. The town had always feared the bikers, leather jackets, but as they listened to the child, something changed. These weren't criminals looking for trouble. These were men and women who understood pain, injustice, and what it meant to be powerless once. The biker leader stepped forward. The child's words had awakened memories he buried long ago, his own mother crying after a factory accident that was never reported. He looked at the factory gates and knew this wasn't just the child's story. It was a story repeated for generations. The sound echoed through the street as they rode toward the factory. Workers stopped and stared. For the first time, fear seemed to shift sides. They demanded answers. Cameras were raised, witnesses gathered. The mother found her voice as others stepped beside her. The guards, who once felt untouchable, suddenly had nowhere to hide. Seeing the bikers stand firm, other workers spoke up. Stories poured out: abuse, unpaid wages, threats. What was once whispered in kitchens was now spoken aloud in daylight. The factory's power began to crumble under the weight of truth. Later that evening, one biker knelt beside the child and fixed the broken toy with careful hands. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. The child smiled for the first time that day. His mother watched, realizing her son had witnessed something rare: people choosing kindness over fear. The factory would face consequences, but the real miracle wasn't punishment. It was hope. A child learned his tears mattered. A mother regained her dignity. A town remembered its voice. And the bikers rode away quietly, leaving behind something stronger than fear: courage born from kindness. That day, justice did not arrive in a uniform or behind a desk. It came on two wheels, driven by people the world had judged too quickly. The child got more than a repaired toy. He got his mother's dignity back and a future without fear. Sometimes, miracles don't come quietly. Sometimes, they roar into our lives to remind us that kindness and courage still exist. This is Miracles of Kindness, where humanity always finds a way.